Welcome to the Beyond the Bucket Show, a podcast centered around optimizing all lives' buckets. We all have buckets we are balancing: coaching, entrepreneurial ventures, family, passion projects, and health. Let's all take this journey together and become bucket fillers. And here's your host, Chris McSwain.
Welcome back to Beyond the Buckets. Coach McSwain back in the building. I got a good friend that everybody in San Jose knows. I did a few more curls today because Coach Jason Harrison from Gunderson High School is stepping into the building. Coach Jason, welcome to the program.
My man, appreciate you for having me.
All right. Well, a lot of people know you in this area, but I want to start off with a fun fact that most people might not know about you.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
I'm a great cook.
Okay, give me your three go-to meals.
Filet mignon, lobster tail, asparagus.
Okay, and how are we cooking that? How are we cooking the steak?
So I'm marinated in my marinade sauce. I can't give that recipe out.
Okay,
and then I'm grilling it.
Yep.
7 minutes per side.
Medium rare.
Medium rare.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to go medium rare.
There you go.
And then I have my lobster tail.
Okay.
That I broil.
Yep.
And then asparagus, of course.
Paprika on top of that thing.
We got paprika. We got garlic salt. Yep. And then we have Old Bay seasoning.
Okay. Got to have the Old Bay.
You got to have the Old Bay.
If you don't know about Old Bay, you need to pick some up.
Mm-hmm.
It's too good. All right. So what's the third choice?
Okay. So seafood Alfredo pasta.
Okay.
That I make my own Alfredo sauce. Grill the chicken, or I do shrimp, and I mix it together. Man, you know what? Next time, have me on again. I'll bring some to you.
Okay, there you go. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yes,
I'm hungry now. It's actually pretty late tonight for me eating, but you got me hungry. If you don't know Jason, one of the most well-respected people in San Jose, played at a high level in high school, college, and is now the head football coach at Gunderson High School. So we're happy to have you. But why don't you just give everybody like a 3-minute backstory on you, kind of how you grew up, and then kind of how you ended up where you're at now.
So born and raised in San Jose, started playing football at an early age at 8 for Willow Glen Rams. Played 2 years there. Then my mom thought it was better if I transitioned over to Cotty Creek.
Yeah.
So I transitioned over there for Cotty Creek and all the way to my high school year. Unbelievable stories, championships we've won. Then transitioned over to Gunderson. And the backstory for me, why I went to Gunderson, was when I was in 8th grade, my older brother, he was a sophomore, and I was in 8th grade. But the varsity team had just played Del Mar, 1996.
Yeah, and they won TCS that year.
Del Mar won.
Yeah.
They won 13-12.
Right, I remember that.
And Gunderson squad was really good, and that was a great game. And then you know what? That program is legit.
Right.
I'm gonna follow my brother's footsteps to go to Gunderson, and that's what happened.
How did you not go to Oak Grove, playing in Coyote Creek back in that day?
I wasn't in the school district, first off. So, I was living off.
That never stopped Oak Grove back in the day, too. It just sure didn't. There was this little thing called the little club or whatever, the bridge program or something like that.
All I know is about the Oak Grove Rough Riders.
Yeah.
And those Oak Grove Rough Riders went to Oak Grove High School.
Right.
So playing for Cotty Creek, I had a couple guys go to Oak Grove, a couple guys go to Yerba Buena, a couple guys go to Independence, a couple guys go to Willow Glen, a couple guys go to Gunderson.
Right.
And I was just one of the guys that went to Gunderson. Family and friends, of course, went to Oak Grove.
Right.
Kellen Taylor, my cousin Gerald Green, end up doing their thing at Oak Grove.
For sure.
During my time at Gunderson, I got talked to about, hey, slide over here.
Oh, really?
Slide over here.
Yeah.
But my loyalty was with the guys at Gunderson.
Right. And let's be honest, you guys had a really good team. I mean, right before you was Ramon Payne, and then you had the Lovely Brothers, you had Casper, you had James Jones, you had like a lot of really good players, and a lot of them played at a high level in college.
Absolutely. We had Keenan Smith.
Keenan. Oh yeah, Keenan. I forgot him.
Before,
he wore number 3 because that's why I really like. He was number 3, right?
7.
7. Okay.
Ramon was 3.
Ramon was 3.
Ramon was 3.
Okay.
So, you know, Keenan ended up playing at Sac State. He was our quarterback. He was our point guard. And he kind of set the stage. And the next year was Ramon. And then the next year was me.
Right.
The next year was James Jones. It was Greg Lovely. It was Martell Hefner. You know,
squad.
Year after that,
how did you guys not win it all? Like, that's crazy to me. You guys had 15 college players on that team, if not more.
You know, it's not all about the talent for a team, man. It's you gotta have chemistry. You gotta have the right coaching. You gotta have, you know, things fall into place.
You guys beat us our senior year. The previous year they screwed you guys because there was a coin toss, and then you guys got out of you weren't invited to the playoff, and we played Midi, and they just ran the wing tee and smacked us real quick.
That was our senior year.
Oh, was that senior year?
That was senior year.
No, because we got kicked out of the playoffs. I thought by senior
year. Okay, so
junior year, because we went 6-4, and because we lost to you guys, I don't think we went to the playoffs. Senior year, junior year, we went 7-3, and it was us, Prospect, and you, all at the behind Pioneer.
We were in A-League.
So, Pioneer was in A-League too. Was Pioneer in B?
No, Pioneer was in A our junior year. Senior year, though,
okay, so
we dropped down to B.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I'm thinking. That was B League. That was our senior year for B.
Okay, so we didn't make the offs that year.
So we had a coin flip with 3 teams. Our senior year.
Oh, so maybe we didn't get out.
Yeah. So,
but the previous year we knocked Prospect and you out, I think. Because did you make the offs your junior?
Nope.
So there you go.
Yeah. So we were in A.
But we didn't make it. We didn't make it senior year.
Yeah.
Which was, we had a lot of college players on the team too. And people I don't think people realize what type of talent there was back then. Just in that, even in the Mount Hamilton. With Lee, Antoine Guidry, who we know very well. We used to hang out. All of us kind of like, we were all kind of the leaders in our own circles, and then we kind of knew of each other, and then we eventually hung out with each other and might have dated some of the same girls, that sort of stuff. But
100%.
Those were the times. But we never had no like beef. There was always just a mutual respect between all those people that kind of just congregated together,
right?
Because we all knew one person that was cool with. So Jerem was cool with y'all, and he was cool with the Lee guys, and then he kind of branched off from there. And then we met the Pioneer guys with Billy and all them, and yeah, what a great time!
Great time, man. Think about me, man. I loved seeing, you know, the guys that from different high schools, and like, hey, what's up, man? Connecting with them,
right?
Seeing how they vibe, seeing how they operate. Like for you, right? We played hoop against each other back in the day. We played football, and getting around you and your people.
Yep.
Solid group, right? Your group is solid
for sure,
right? And so for me, it was really good to get a chance, opportunity to see other circles,
right?
You know, and I feel you invited me into your circle, and that's real.
Likewise, it's mutual respect for sure. Real. Same thing with Antoine, and same thing with the Oak Grove guys.
You know, Jacob French from Pioneer.
Yeah.
You know, Jamal Jackson from Oak Grove.
Yep. That was those were the days. But man, so many great athletes, and what I really like now is so many of us in that era are coaching in different sports. Whether that be you at Gunderson, Doc is coaching over at Oak Grove, Jeremy coached at Pioneer, I obviously coach at Valley Christian, and there's so many people that are connected because of sports, where we competed against each other and with each other, and then you go on to be adults, and then you're help molding young lives at the same time. It's just truly, truly amazing. Everybody's doing really great things with their life, and I really think it was because of the competition level that we had to go against, because it was hard. We knew we had to train for y'all. We knew that we had to strap up. It was a two chin strap game whenever we saw you, and you could tell our linebacker that because you ran him over. And it was like in the rain. I was mad because in that game I knew we weren't going to throw that much because it was kind of low key raining.
Yeah.
And you was like, oh yeah, he was ready for that game. You probably had about 2 bills on us, but
my coach told me, hey, be ready.
right.
And I was like, man, that fourth quarter, I got the ball like 8 times in a row. And we drove down that field, and then we got to the goal line.
And it was you and him. Mano y mano. And you the one still standing.
Yeah.
That's funny. But anyway, you were one of the few that got like a scholarship to like a Power 5 right out of high school, going to UCLA. Tell me how that all came about. Obviously, you were a great running back. Obviously, you have great stats and things like that. But usually for our area, that's very few and far between. How were you able to maneuver that? And looking back on it, like how crazy was that for you to get that opportunity? Because we all thought we were going to those major schools, but you were the one that actually got to go to one of those major schools. So tell me about that process.
Right. It started at Sac State camp, really, my sophomore year. The whole team went to Sac State camp, and we had a great camp as a team camp, and we're competing against other schools, Granite Bay, Jesuit, a couple, Morro Bay, a couple of other schools. And, the coaches are coming up to me like, what year are you? I'm a sophomore, right? I'm like, shoot, no, he's doing his thing.
Right.
At the end of the camp, I got my first offer by Sac State. And their claim to fame was, we're the Florida State of the West Coast.
Sac State said that?
Yes. Sac State. And so, I was very appreciative of the offer, no doubt. But, my mind, like, okay, I'm bigger than this.
Right.
So my season goes on. I'm playing running back, slot. I'm playing corner. Do a pretty good job. Then after that, I start going to camps. I'm training, I'm lifting, I'm running, I'm training, I'm lifting and running, I'm training, I'm lifting and running. And then go to these camps. Going into my junior year, I did pretty good. I ran good. I caught the ball well. My junior year, I was 175 pounds at the time. Started getting more letters, started getting more offers, started getting letters, started getting more phone calls. Colleges reaching out to my mom. Junior year comes, and I have 1,500 yards on offense, six interceptions on defense, and that's when I started getting all the buzz. And it was 15 coaches a week, at Gunderson, taking me out of class, and that experience was awesome. It was amazing.
Right.
Coming to my house, eating food, at our dinner table twice a week. At a time, my mom was like, boy, if you don't hurry up and commit, because it was just a lot. It was a lot. And I'm like, I don't know, Mom.
Yeah.
So senior year happens. Now they're all at my game. Every game my senior year, there was at least 5 coaches from everywhere. And then I take a trip to Arizona. I took a trip to UCLA. After UCLA, I take a nap. And I'm like, man, okay, I'm going to UCLA.
Yeah.
And then I committed to UCLA. I didn't go to Oregon. I had Oregon the next week. I had Ohio State the week after. I had Texas A&M week 5. And I just decided UCLA was the one.
Nice. Who helped you along with that process? Obviously your mom, but I just remember, like, my mom she didn't know about sports or anything like that. And we had a little bit of interest. My senior year, I got receiver of the year, and the receiver coach from Utah came and met with us. And so she didn't really know. And my SAT, I had like a 2.6 cumulative GPA. And so back then you needed like 1,000 on your SATs. And I was probably a better corner, but I wanted to play receiver because I wanted to catch the ball. But they wanted me to walk on as a corner. And I was like, no, I'm like you, I'm better than that. Like, I'm going to play receiver. if I'm playing. And so there was this quarterback they had recruited from San Diego. Alex Smith was the quarterback. And they were telling me about him. So I was like, oh, I want to play with this guy. He seemed like threw for 4,000 or whatever and all that. And then Reggie Bush was under him, but he was younger. But yeah, so Utah was like I had a preferred walk on there, but I couldn't even qualify because my SATs was like 900 and you had to get 1,000 or 1,200. I forget the thing, but every like 2.7, you need a little bit less, 2.8, 2.9, 3.0. And so I really wasn't equipped at that point to even understand how it all worked out. So that's why I'm asking, like, who helped you, guide you through that process, whether from the academics to the just to the process of setting it all up.
Right. So my mom,
and this is probably good for kids that might not know how this works.
Right. So my mom was on me. I couldn't do anything if I didn't have a 3.0. So I had I had all A's and B's. I got my first C in high school, but I still had a 3.4. So my SAT score I had to get was 860.
Okay.
And I ended up getting, I think, 1020. I want to say 1020 on my SAT, but she was like, "You ain't getting bad grades. You're not getting bad grades." So she didn't know about football or how the process went either. She just stood by like, "Hey Jay, I'm gonna support you. Kind of let me do my own thing." You know how my uncle here and there, he kind of told me, do what your heart says.
Yep.
And my mom followed that. Do what you do. I'm gonna follow you wherever you go, basically. So my mom was just like, "Go ahead, enjoy the process, pick the school that you want." But grade wise, I was set. My senior year of high school, I only had three real classes.
Right.
It was
language, math,
and then
science,
American government,
or government, yeah.
Right. And then my fourth period, I was a TA for my football coach, and so he would tell all the recruits or the scouts to come fourth period because I was a TA anyway. So I didn't have a 56. My senior year was a breeze. After third period, after fourth period, when I'd meet with the coaches, I was free to go, and I'd come back, for practice, of course.
Right. Most people, this obviously is beyond the buckets, but most people don't know that you played basketball too. We played against each other. I think we beat y'all all those games the senior year because we weren't in the same league junior year, were we?
No. You guys kept winning,
right? And
then got to A League your senior year.
Yeah, and we actually lost three games throughout the year. Antoine beat us. I don't say Lee. Antoine beat us twice. And then Jason Bosway and Andrew Hill beat us once. And then we lost to Sacred Heart in the quarterfinals of CCS. But those were the days. A lot. I mean, and that's when people played multiple sports. Everybody played at least two, if not three. But talk about your hoop career and all that.
Man, that was fun. Okay, so my senior year, our division, our league, we had 7 or 8 teams in the top 25.
Right.
You know what I mean? We had you guys, we had Andrew Hill, we had Oak Grove, we had us. We had Piedmont Hills maybe at one point. We had, who else was in our league?
Independence.
And
they had like Ferris.
They had Ferris, and they had Virgil.
And they had like 2 other guys that were really good. Everybody was good.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't just say that because we're older now, but that was like, you can go back and look at that. Like, it was competitive.
It was really competitive.
I mean, just think about it. Me, Jeremy, and Rodney and Belton came off the bench. Off the bench. Like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah. So that was an unreal season. And then we get to CCS.
Oh, don't say
Come on. We got to talk about it. We're playing Reardon, right? and you guys are in the stands.
We're right. We play right after you.
Yep. So Del Mar was in the stands. Number 8 seeds playing number 1 seed Reardon.
Yeah. Quarterfinals.
At
Piedmont Hills.
James Jones gets in foul trouble.
Yes, that's the former Packers and Raiders James Jones.
My teammate.
By the way.
He gets in foul trouble. He's guarded the number 1 player on Reardon. I tell coach, let me guard him. He's not a post player. He's a perimeter player. He's playing, he's playing like a guard.
Right.
Let me guard him.
Even though he's 6'7".
Yeah, let me guard him.
Marquise Cately, for those that don't know.
Yep. He tells me no. He puts our 3-point shooter. I love Devin. He puts him on him. They're screening. I get caught under the rim. He crosses up Devin. And he rises on me.
He tried to take a charge.
I did. I took a charge. I tried, and he was just up there, and I'm just looking at him like, damn. And then hey, look, I promise you, you guys were the first group I looked at in the stands.
Oh my god!
And y'all was having a ball up there.
Well, Coop knows the Piedmont Hills rims were a little bit lower. Buckner and Coop, Quinette, you guys all know that hoop was lower. But Cornette was with us at that time. But you guys know that their rim was lower. But yeah, same thing with Oak Grove. The Oak Grove rims were low for a long time. Low, ask the kill. Everybody could bang out and warm ups over there. But wait, that is funny. But that just goes to show you how good. There are so many great athletes. A lot of people that played at the collegiate level on multiple different sports and. Man, just talking about that just brings up so many great memories. So at UCLA, you get there, but they also have a lot of other really good running backs. When you come in, talk about that competition and what that was like, because you were the top dog in this area, and now you going against other top dogs everywhere. And who was in your running back class? Was that MJD too?
No, so
he's a year above.
He's 2 years younger.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So he came after.
Maurice Jones-Drew, 2003. So
was Foster there?
Deshaun Foster was a senior.
Okay,
my freshman year.
Yeah.
So we had my class, Tyler Ebell.
Oh yeah, light skin.
Ended up rushing 4,000 yards in high school.
Yeah, crazy.
And then Wendell Mathis at Fresno, at a Merced. Okay, he was another running back. We competed. We became best friends. Like, there's no hate. There was no hate. Obviously, Deshaun Foster was the man, and he kind of showed us the way. We got to work. We're going to work. So Deshaun Foster, he ended up getting drafted to the Carolina Panthers. He always showed us love, man. Every time he was back, right? He showed us love. And then after that, we grinded. Bob Toledo, he was my head coach. His philosophy was the next man up, seniority. So he was always going to go with the next guy. So junior Akil Harris was the next guy. Sophomore Emmanuel White was the next guy. And then there was 3 freshmen. We all redshirted. So now we're redshirt freshmen. So that was his philosophy. And we worked our tail off. My second year, now we're starting on kick return. They made a package for me, called it Lion. I mean, I came in as fullback because I caught the ball well out the backfield. So it was a starting running back there. I would be the fullback, and they called it Lion. Unfortunate for me, against Washington State, returning the kick, ended up tearing my knee.
Right.
And that set me back a little bit.
Right. And so talk about that. Like, how hard was that for you? Was that your first major injury? And what was it like trying to come back from that?
Yeah, that was my first major injury since started playing football, sports. It was rough. I tore my ACL, my LCL, my hamstring, my meniscus. And this to process. I remember the doctor was like, I don't know if you're going to play football again. and Dr. McAllister, and I love you, Dr. McAllister, for getting me back. My trainer, Debbie, she was like, hey, do you want to rehab to walk again, or do you want to rehab to play again? I was like, come on, Dad, you already know. So we started the rehab process, man. It sucked. It sucked. And at the same time, a soccer star from UCLA, women's soccer, Jill Oakes, had just torn her ACL and MCL. And 2 weeks prior to that, I'm in the training room working on my hamstring, and I'm talking to her, and she's like, this sucks. And then 2 weeks later, I'm right there with her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sheesh. So what happened after that once you got healthy? Obviously, did you feel the same? Did you think you could still go out there and play, or what was that mental barrier? Like, obviously mental health is a big thing now, but not many people were talking about that in the early 2000s,
right,
about an athlete trying to get back to where they used to be at an elite level. And now what does that do to that person mentally, and seeing other people thrive and other people come into, and seeing people previously that have gone on to where you wanted to go and probably were projected to go had you not got injured. So what was that like for you?
Broken, because once I was able to walk again, that's a process. Once I started to jog again, that was a process. So each stage, yeah, we're getting better, but like, dang, this is taking a long time. So that mental aspect, we're like, man, I don't know if I keep going. I had the option to medically retire because the doctors was like, yeah, his stuff is tore up. So the aspect of, persevering, I never wanted to quit. At the same time, I definitely had my doubts.
Right. Do you think that made you the person you are now, going through that, the roughest thing that you could probably go through as an athlete happened to you, and now you look back on it, you be like, are you glad that it happened? Because that made you so much stronger and being able to get through mostly anything if you can get through that.
100%, man. Mindset of this football was what I love to do, and now they take it away from me. So for me to find a way to come back after all that, man.
What was that feeling like?
So I remember it didn't work out in my favor, but I still remember from what the team did to me, right? Mm-hmm. It took me 2 years to get back. Maurice had just pulled his hamstring or something like that. MJD had just pulled his hamstring. We're going a week to play Oregon. So coach is like, J-Rock, we're going to see how you play this week during practice. I said, okay, coach, you already know I'm ready. So now we have a freshman, Chris Marquis. Love Chris. Manuel White, he's the other running back, but he plays fullback and running back. Then there's me and there's Derek Williams. All throughout the week, Chris Marquis and I were the ones busting our butt after practice. J-Rock, you look good. J-Rock, you look good. Every single coach on the team, J-Rock, you look good. Next day, J-Rock, want to see you run the ball this week. So it's plus this is after transition of Bob Toledo getting fired.
Yep.
And then Carl Durrell coming, Coach Eric Bieniemy coming on, being my running back coach.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So now it's Eric Bieniemy. And when I got injured, Toledo got fired. Carl Durrell came on, Bieniemy came on, and he's like, hey, while you're injured, you're a coach. You got to know more than anybody. And I took it like, I already know more than anybody, but bring it to me. So I knew everything the coaches did. So when I started to play that week against Oregon, like I kid you not, coaches was like, J-Rock, you look good. J-Rock, you ready. J-Rock, you look like how you used to look. We saw your film. So got all the hype during the week. The players like, J-Rock, you got the ball this week. The players, J-Rock, you got the ball this week. Maurice was injured. J-Rock, you got the ball this week. Unfortunately, I didn't get one carry.
Wow.
Chris Marquis ended up having 160 yards that game.
Okay.
You know, but during that week, though, feeling the vibe I got from my teammates, my peers, and the coaching staff. You look good. You look good. Coaches like, dude, I go back to UCLA games, and then the guys go, J-Rock, the coaches did you dirty. And just to hear that, man, makes me feel good.
Right. I mean, I find getting validation from your peers more than like anybody else, really, honestly, because they know what I did a coaching clinic, and one of the coaches that I really, really respect, and he's one of the best coaches in the area, he comes up to me, he's like, man, I really loved your zone stuff. We're going to steal some of that. And I was like, wow, that meant a lot to me for him to go out of his way, because I was watching his joint and I'm like, man, he killed it. And then I was like, all right, well, you know, it's my turn now. I was like, all right, you know, I got to get up here and do my thing, because the content was great, but then he added his personality and all that. And then I was writing after him. So I was like, oh, I gotta show out. Mm-hmm. But that's how it is. It's like, and then for him to text me and be like, man, and then he hit me with some other things. And he sent me an email with a bunch of stuff that he was talking about, because I had a question, and that to me means more than validation from, you know, like administration or parents or anything like that. When the other coach knows that you or the other player knows, or the people that are in your group, that means a lot. And I can definitely resonate with the way that you felt in that moment, because that respect factor only comes from those that are involved in the same thing that you're doing, and knowing the work that you put in to get back, that obviously felt like it was the world to you.
100%. It was, you know, he didn't have to say it, right? We're alumni game, you know, enjoying, you know, networking.
Yeah.
To go out of his way to be like, yo, I remember back your senior year.
That's wild.
You know, I just want to let you know, J-Rock, you should have played. So.
And if you look back, coach probably would say that too. You know, there's been times where, you know, we had a big game a few years ago, and we had a lot of seniors on the team, and one of the parents and the young lady wanted to meet with me. The Friday was the game. They wanted to meet on Saturday. I said, okay, we can meet. And I just listened to them, and they were like, Coach, you didn't get her in the game. Da, da, da. And I was just like, I just sat there and I just took it. Whatever you want to say, go ahead and say to me. And I just said, you're right. You're right. I messed up. I should have had her in the game. She deserved more opportunities than I gave her. And you could have told me that 15 years ago, and I'd be like, nah, I would never. No, this is the reason. But she deserved to be in the game. She was a hard worker. She's playing in college right now, and she was like one of those. She reminded me of me, because I had to outwork most of the people, and I still outwork most of the people that may be more talented than me. And that's just always been my mentality. Like, all right, you got this. I don't got calves this big, but I'm still gonna work. You know what I mean? I couldn't keep a straight face, but sometimes you just gotta be honest with yourself. And I bet you, if you got coach in an honest moment, he probably say the same thing too. And I think that's like being a man and growing and understanding yourself, understanding other people. Like, you have to be cognizant. Man, I fall short a lot of the time. I'm not perfect. And so if you just tell people that, they have a lot more grace for you. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It happens as coaching, right?
Yeah.
We don't, we have a lot on our mind, and sometimes we don't play the person. We don't put the person in the game. It's unfortunate. We're human too. We make mistakes. We have error.
Yep.
But you can reflect and be like, you know what? That person was right. And I think that's how we should live our life every day. We're going to grow. We're going to understand our wrongdoings and improve.
Right. And it's okay to be wrong or incorrect in the moment. You're trying your best. And if somebody knows your heart, they know it wasn't, don't blame it on the person's heart. Just blame it on the mind or the circumstance that was going on. Because we as coaches, and we'll start getting into some of the coaching stuff, but I've been enjoying this other part of the conversation. We want the best for all the kids. Mm-hmm. And it sucks because not every kid is going to get that shine that they deserve. But you are a perfect example of that. You were the top of the top. Then because of the injury, you fell off. But you still had worth within the group that was around you, all the assistant coaches and everybody that supported you to see where you came from. That's what this is all about. And then you still became a success as a man because of all of that you had to go through. And if you didn't go through that, what's to say that you would be sitting in the seat that you're at now? You had to go through that. Mm-hmm. You had to. I remember, when I tore my shoulder up freshman year, and then, all those scholarship opportunities fell off. Like, oh, he's done. He can't play no more. And you had lost a year. I had to sit out the whole next year. And then you're just sitting like, wait, what's going to happen? And all I needed was one opportunity. I got that one opportunity. I made the most of it. And that's what it's all about. And because of that, I always have a chip on my shoulder. It don't matter if I think we have the best team or not. I still got to put the same work in as a coach every single day. I can't skip that step on the ladder and just think that it's cashed in. Like, you can never do that. But I guess my next question is for you. How did you get into coaching once your playing career was over? We can continue to talk about that, but you did transfer to Menlo where you finished out your career. Briefly talk about that, and then talk about how you got into coaching.
So the situation was I transferred to San Jose State.
Oh, I didn't know that.
With James. And I was going to play. But NCAA rules, they weren't going to grab me a 6th year.
Mm.
And
now they got people playing 8 years.
8 years, right? And so, because I tore my knee, sat out a year, I was like, I'm gonna get a 6th year back, but I didn't end up doing that. So finished up at Menlo, played overseas in 2009 in Helsinki, Finland. Great experience. And then, so my brother he ended up going to Pioneer. And, he was a standout at Pioneer. He was their leader. And I ended up coaching his senior year with Eric Perry, coach running backs and DBs, special teams. And that was a year I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna start this journey.
Right. And was Jason Campbell there, Jeremy there yet?
Not yet. They were still at Del Mar. So we ended up losing to Los Gatos in the CCS championship game, 28-21.
Oh, wow.
And the year after that,
was Crail, that was his first year at Los Gatos? Because Crail was at Pioneer.
No, Crail was at Pioneer. After Pioneer, Crail went to Santa Clara. So Crail was at Santa Clara.
I didn't know that because he was coaching against us, running that wing T back in the day.
Yep.
And then, I thought he went straight from Pioneer to LG.
Yeah. So he went to Santa Clara for a few years.
Okay.
So I don't think 2011 he was at LG.
Got it.
And so the next year, my little brother, he was already gone. Jason Campbell, your quarterback from high school, Jeremy Bean.
That's my quarterback.
Yeah. And they ended up coming over, and we had 3 good years together. And then I took a hiatus for 4 years, In 2019 was my first year at Gunderson.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so why Gunderson? And specifically because probably like back then, the public schools like Oak Grove was the main school. Los Gatos was the main school. Pioneer always had really good teams. We had some good teams. The public schools were able to win CCS much more than some of the WCAL schools.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just look at it. It was that way in the late 90s for sure, early 2000s. And then somewhere probably in the 2010s is when I think started to shift towards the schools in my league where the WCAL started, getting all the best players and stuff like that. And now the public schools numbers have decreased. Talent isn't what it was. Obviously, people moved out of the area too, so that changed the demographics and whatnot. But somebody that has coached or played at such a high level, been around the game, around people played in the NFL. You obviously played professionally too. Why go back to Gunderson where you started? And because you're a talented coach, but tell me about why Gunderson.
Why not Gunderson?
Yeah, there you go.
So that's where I played at. And it obviously starts with the coach. It starts with the culture at the school. I remember when I first started, 2019, there was no culture. And you have to build it.
100%.
You have to build it. It's not going to happen overnight. It's been a process. And to say that we have culture now, after 5 years, it's a beautiful thing.
100. And I got to give you your props because you have helped build that. Like you were in there working out with your guys or texting the guys and getting them together and all that sort of stuff. And you're right. It is not just going to happen itself. It's similar to your rehab with your knee. Your knee ain't just going to get better. You're going to have to go through some difficult times to make sure you strengthen it. And once you got it strong, now it should be stable, but now you can start to look at other things. But you've done a really good job in such a short time changing what that culture is. So what were the things that you said, look, all right, I see this as something that we need to improve on or get better? What were those culture pieces that was like, all right, this is where we're going to start and this is how we're going to do it? And then how you get the kids to buy in and how do you get a staff to buy in and all that? Yeah.
So number one, the first thing I tried to change was weight room. Weight room. We have to get stronger at all levels. Weight room, and we can talk about numbers real quick. We went from 3 kids my first year, 6 kids my second year, 12 kids my third year, 18 kids my fourth year. And to now we have 38, 40 kids in the weight room.
Working out every day. And are you guys still working out during the season too?
Yes, we work out Mondays and Wednesdays. And then Thursdays we have our mobility, hip mobility circuit walkthrough before walkthroughs.
Right.
So we make sure we, get our hips loose.
Love that.
But that's number one. To add on to that, it's the commitment aspect. You can't, and this is a struggle because the parents encourage it. You got to show up.
Right.
You got to show up to practice. You can't show up 3 days out of 5. You can't show up 3 days out of 5. That's 4 hours out of that week that you missed. Times that by 100, it's 400 hours you've missed.
Right.
There's no replacement.
I get it.
There's no replacement.
Yep.
So I reach out to the parents. I have a great relationship with my parents, the parent community now, and it's like, do you understand that he's not playing Friday because you let him stay home?
Right.
And then the parents really they dawn on him like, okay, coach, I understand. But now it's like, no, you got to go to practice.
Yep.
You have to go to practice. There's no replacement for practice. If you're hurt, go to practice. If you can't play, go to practice. Because, you know, there's the mental reps.
Yep.
Not even the mental reps.
It's just accountability.
Just accountability. Show up. Yeah. Show up. Are you still part of this team or not? If you're not going to show up, hand in your gear.
And you have somebody else depending on you at all times. Mm-hmm. Like, just think about if you didn't show up or you showed up late or weren't prepared, and all those kids is looking at you like, damn, coach, what are you not prepared? You showing up late. I ain't even seen you in 2 days. And that's what the players, they may not say it because they're not, you know, kids don't really, they might say it behind their back. Rarely do somebody say, oh, where were you at? Because they just don't like that confrontation. But you think it, or so-and-so shows up late every time. That's our first standard. We don't have rules. We have standards. Our first standard is keep showing up. That's the prerequisite to get you in the door to do anything. Like, you can't do anything if you don't show up every single day. Like, I know you work out every day. I work out every single day. And even if I don't work out hard, I'm doing something. Moving my hips, moving my body, go for a walk, do some hip mobility, do some yoga, stretch. Those are not off days. I'm just going much lighter. Right. It's not like I'm not stopping, because if I stop this, then you know how it is. Like, I know if we go on vacation or something and we're gone for a few days and our routine is kicked off, it's like, it's hard to get back that Monday and get back. We went to the Niner game on Sunday, and it's hard. That Monday morning was hard. It was hard. It was like, man, we just eating and eating bad food and just your whole time clock is off. But that's that regimen that is something that we pride ourselves on. And, you know, sometimes, like, there used to be a time a few years ago where I didn't feel like I had to go to the weight room and just be there. I'm there every day now. Like, we had a strength coach back in the day, you know, Taff. He would be the one to hold them accountable and do all that stuff. And I didn't have to show up for it all the time. Now I have to, because the group needs me to be there. And if I'm not there, it looks a lot and feels a lot different. So I have to be there if we want this thing to be good. Now, what happens after that? Well, everybody knows kind of like, all right, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And all those young girls are watching what's happening next. So,
right. So the same. Like, I have the older guys, like, hey, take a younger kid, grab them, and get to work. So the group of 3, group of 4, there'll be 3 older guys, 1 freshman, 2 older guys, 1 freshman. And, you know, I think I did a pretty good job of showing the way. And I sit back. Once I need to correct, I go correct. It's like I say, it's a beautiful thing, man, when the kids buy in.
And are the kids getting stronger and they feel better about themselves, all that? Oh, self-esteem is through the roof.
Through the roof. It's night and day. It's night and day from 2019 to 3 kids being in the weight room to 40 kids being in the weight room. And then you see it on film. You see it at practice. You see it on Friday nights when we play. It's like, man, I have a kid who was 165 as a freshman. He's 195 now.
Wow.
And all he did was follow the plan. His parents, yes. He asked, Coach, what do I eat? I told him. He sent the message to his family. His family bought all the things that I told him to get. 30 pounds heavier. And he's one of our better players as a sophomore.
Wow. So what do you guys have to do with because, like, resources and things like that? What are some of the difficult things coaching at public school in this era of football, where you know, some of the resources at my school or the other schools in our league are just endless, and that's hard to combat when you have a public school. And we were both products of public school, and I do believe in it. But being at this school, it just opens your eyes to a lot of different things. But I do think it can work both ways. And it's not like our school isn't for everybody, just like Gunderson isn't for everybody. So talk about how you guys work around some of the things that you might not have compared to some of these larger schools?
Well, first and foremost, I commend my players because they're coming downtown. They're taking light rail to school. They're taking light rail to practice when we don't have school. Like this week is off, right? They have to get on light rail from downtown, from East San Jose to get to Gunderson. They don't have the luxuries, right? You know, they don't have the resources as everybody else. So they got to take the bus to the light rail.
Wow.
So I commend my guys that live that far to get to Gunderson every day, right? This year, I've relied on a lot of the parents. Yo, we have potluck, you know,
Love that.
every week. Parents, this is what we're doing. Come on. And they bring, you know, the kids relay the message. We have.
Is that every Thursday?
I started it, but I told the kids to be accountable. I'm not waiting until Thursday to figure out what you're going to bring. So when you guys want to get that going again, we'll get it going again. But week 1, week 2, week 3, potluck. The day before the game.
Love that. That's great.
We had so much food. Kids took food home. Go home. Take it home.
And some of them probably don't get the nourishment they need, and they probably get up super early. And so that, I mean, that in itself, that's building something that they can't ever get anywhere else.
Right.
That discipline. I got to show up. Coach needs me. Players need me. My team needs me. Just thinking about just getting there. Like, think about that as a coach. Like, when you have how could you not want to go through a wall for them, just like they're trying to go through a wall for you and they have to go through that. That's like beautiful. And that's the reason why I'm sure you coach, and that's the reason why Gunderson, because they need you. Because who else is going to do it?
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
I
commendable.
Right. I think about, you know, the opportunities I had to go somewhere else. Gunderson needs me. Those kids need me.
Wow.
So that's all I'm gonna say about that. They need me.
Beautiful. That's awesome. And so where do you think you could take this? Like, you know, you're an energetic person that gives everything that you have to this program. And you've already seen some of the fruits of the labor that you put in. Like, are you stopping anytime soon, or is this like all systems go? Let's see how far we could take this.
So a couple years ago, we were 1 game away from winning league.
Wow.
Okay. We were 1 game away. We ended up losing to Andrew Hill. We were undefeated. They were undefeated. They ended up beating us. They won league. They went to CCS. Last year, we were 1 game away.
Dang.
All we had to do, us, Del Mar, Prospect. We lost to Del Mar. We lost to Prospect first. Then we played Del Mar. All we had to do was beat Del Mar.
I saw you beat him this year, though.
We didn't play Del Mar this year.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
And Del Mar ended up beating us. We were 1 game away. This is my most complete team this year. And only time will tell, but I expect us to go far this year.
Right. But sometimes you got to have your heart broken before you can actually get to where you want to get to. Like that happens over and over in our life. It's a setback. It's a setback. And then boom. And you just, and once you get to that point, it's like, all right, I need more of that drug because I know it's working, and you can see it working with these kids. And that's important. And, you know, for those that are listening out there, like, there's going to be a lot of different ups and downs in your life. But as you can see, the positivity that Coach Jason has that's how you have to approach everything. You have to approach everything with gratitude and be grateful for what you got and not worry about what everybody else got. And that's the sense that I get for your program. You're not worried about what everybody else got around it. We're worried about what we got. What do we have? All right. Well, do we have 3 racks in the weight room? Cool. How can we manage that? Well, we got 6 bars. Cool. We can put one on the rack, 1 on the ground, and we can get a circuit. Oh, we got 6 sets of dumbbells, cool. We get the circuit. Whatever you have, you got to make the most of. And that's the beautiful thing. And everybody's recipe is going to be a little bit different, but you're the only one to know that seasoning. You're the only one that know that dry rub and to get it working the way it is. So that's really cool. And I'm very proud of you to sit here, and because everybody can't do what you do. Everybody can't be at a school like that. You know Nate Anderson, and he was at Oak Grove for a long time, and he just has an affinity for working with kids that really need it. I wish I had more of that in me, as far as like wanting to work with these kids, because they need it. They really need it. Talk about your staff and how important they are as well, and some of the men and women that help you out in the program.
So, unfortunately, I had a staff member. He passed away Sunday morning. He wasn't coaching this year because of his health.
Jeez.
He was diagnosed with cancer a little bit ago, and so we took the year off, just try to get better. And unfortunately, he hung on as long as he could, and he passed away Sunday.
Dang.
He was Chris Wayne. He was my special teams coach. He was my equipment manager. He loved the kids, and the kids they know he loved them. Every time I needed something in the equipment room, hey, I got it. He would stay hours in the equipment room and organize every single little thing, from skull caps to jerseys.
Taking pride in it.
He took pride in it. And he's gonna be missed.
Yeah.
So
that's hard. Like, I didn't tell anybody really. I didn't announce it or anything like that. But my grandma passed away a few months back, and that's when I took a break off of everything. And because my mom passed away a year before that, almost like a year, almost a year to the day. But my grandma passed away, and that was my mom and my grandma were the two people that were always significant in my life. And like the worst thing that can happen to you athletically, the worst thing that could happen to me was lose them. Because for 40 years of my life, that was that's all I had is my mom and my grandmother, and we have a smaller family. But losing those two people, that kind of it didn't break me, but it almost did. Like, that's why I kind of I didn't miss anything, and people probably thought I was the same, but it wasn't until probably like 2 weeks ago that I snapped back into it, and I'm like, all right. And there was a situation that somebody disrespected me, and that was something that my mom and my grandma would never stand for.
Right.
And that was the thing that I needed to wake me up. And I felt like it was them saying, yeah, this person disrespected you, and whatever they said or did was not true. But now they just woke up this lion back here, just like they called you a lion package. I was like, okay. And the lion has always been my favorite animal. And that's why I literally started getting back on the podcast. So I said, I need to talk to everybody that is doing something positive. And so I don't think it was a coincidence that we ran into each other at the game. And this is literally my second podcast. I did one last night. I'm doing one tonight. Usually I'm in bed by this time, but it was something I was like, it sparked me, and I was like, no, I gotta get my ass up and I gotta go. What are you doing? Stop like sulking in all that. And I took the time to kind of like mellow out, but now, in every aspect of my life, I know that like you're not going to be able to be everywhere and do everything, right? But wherever I'm at, that's that's where my full attention is. My full. I told you to put your phone on airplane mode because my full attention is here. Your full attention is here. We got these headphones and we locked into the conversation.
Right.
I don't know how long we've been talking. It don't matter because we're locked into the conversation, and that is one thing that I am now going to make sure that I'm super intentional on wherever I'm at. That has got all my attention.
Powerful.
If I'm up at Valley, that's got all my attention. If I'm with my family, they got all my attention. I don't need my phone. I don't need anything else. I'm just locked into wherever I'm at. And yeah, so I felt like I should share that story because that is hard. That is hard. Losing somebody that's close to you, a friend of the program, somebody that you spend a lot of time with is difficult. But maybe that I can show you that there is strength on the other side and saying, look, I'm still standing and I got my ass knocked down, but it's okay. I'm still here.
Yep.
And now I feel alive and I feel awake. And I feel like God was the one who put that situation. And they kind of told me to get my mentality because they were dogs, everything. My whole mentality and how I carry myself and everything that I do is because of the way they raised me. And yeah, so condolences to your friend.
Thank you.
But yeah,
we decided to. We're playing this season for Coach Chris.
Well, you got me about to tear up over here. That's wild.
Yeah. So Sunday was hard. Sunday was real hard. I woke up to some bad news.
Right.
Throughout the game, it was rough. It was rough, man. I have a good support system.
And how are the kids doing?
It's not these kids. It's the kids that are previously coached that's no longer with the program.
Okay. So they're in college or
they're college or they're working, and they reach out like, yo, I was supposed to go see him. So there's a lot of, it's not their fault.
No.
But they're saying, dang, I was supposed to go see him. And they didn't get a chance to make it to see him before he passed. So it's definitely rough. It's tough. But we're doing this season for Coach Chris.
Right.
Like the impact that he had on the community, Gunderson community, it's huge, man. It's huge. And I'm very grateful my time that he was on this earth. He was my brother. And yeah, so.
And that should be a reminder to the kids too. If there's something that you need to do, don't do it tomorrow, do it today.
Do it.
As soon as I got the call by my grandma, I literally was holding her hand as she was taking her last breaths, getting intubated and all that. And I have a picture of me and one of my bracelets has strong on there. And I was just holding her hand. I just took a picture of her hands and I'll always keep that, but I didn't waste time. So I'm glad I got to get out there. I didn't get to see my mom. She passed in her sleep. I was at a basketball tournament and she was supposed to watch the kids, and that's how we found out. But that is another piece of advice that I would give people is like, if you need to do something tomorrow, do it today. And just like I was tired today, I was like, damn, Jay hit me. I was like, we're doing it today. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I know I'm here today. Yeah. I know I can do it today. Let's not make this be like a tired thing where, I get up super early. I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm in here working out at 5:15 and then you get the kids and then you teach all day and coach all day. And then we had open gym and then same thing. You get up early, you're working, you're coaching, and you didn't have to pull up over here either.
Yeah.
Like you could have made excuse, can we pull? No, you got to do it now. You have to do it now. And that's, man, Coach Chris, that's powerful. That's powerful. And does he have wife and kids and stuff like that?
No wife and kids.
Okay.
Just a lot of brothers.
A lot of family.
A lot of ex-teammates. He played semi-pro. He was a head coach for the Buckeyes semi-pro organization. So A lot of teammates, ex-teammates, a lot of brothers.
Well, so tell me about the rest of the season here. How's it looking? And obviously, this is the season that you guys are dedicating to him.
Yep.
But what's going to transpire over the next 4 weeks as you guys get ready for the playoffs?
Right. Preseason, we were projected to win our league, right? So it's one game at a time. Don't overlook anybody. And just the process, the mindset that they watch film too. They're just like you. Don't take it for granted. And that's our process. We have our game plan for the week. We executed it today. We're going to go through walkthroughs tomorrow because we play them on Thursday. Andrew Hill, and then we go Yerba Buena, and then we go Evergreen. We go James Lick. Then we'll finish off with San Jose High. How they set it up like that, who knows? But San Jose High is the team that's supposed to compete with us the most, the best, right? And it's the last game of the year. So
wow,
we're looking forward to it. Take one game at a time, like I said. We're gonna go. We're gonna go for Chris.
That's good. And so I also seen that you teamed up with Get Sports Focus and that sort of thing. I think that, and you guys practiced. The All-Star game was practiced at Gunderson too.
Yeah. So
I think that's great. Whenever you can bring people to your field, your facilities, and just get some buzz and some energy, and you do James's camps over there. I think that those are really great things, positive for the community that bring people together. So talk about all that other stuff that you guys are doing and anything that you want to promote as we kind of wrap it up.
So Get Sports Focus, Alf Joaquin, he does Get Sports Focus. Teamed up with him 2 years ago. Took my 7-on-7 team to his little camp. Then he was like, hey, I want you to coach the All-Star game, the GSF All-Star game. Last year I coached, 2 years ago, first year I coached it, we won. This last year in December, my second year, we won. So I'm 2-0. So he's like, hey, we're gonna try to make it 3-0. So after the season, we're gonna get together in December, kind of filter the teams, and we're gonna do it again for my third year in a row. We're gonna try to make it 3 in a row.
Well, it was ironic, dude. I'm telling you, just like divine intervention happens. I'm sitting in my class, and one of the students puts on the Get Sports Focus highlights, and right before you're on there, so I'm like thinking, and then literally right after that, you text me. And I was like, okay, I see you working, God. Like it's pretty wild. So when you play San Jose High, I don't know the date of that game, but I would definitely love to be there and hopefully cheer you on to a league championship and a CCS berth, because that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. But literally, one of my students was on he's a football player, trying to look up at the highlights from the Valley Midi game, and that popped, and then you popped up on the thing. I don't know what it was, but I know your face, obviously. So that's wild. Anything that you want to promote as we kind of wrap it up? I think we should do a part 2 once the season is over, because I want to see how it progressed and really dive into some of the details of, this was kind of a more of a background. This is just us talking, but I like that because we've known each other for 20 plus years, but we never had I never knew about all that stuff with your knee and all of that, and kind of the ups and downs, and the soccer player that had the same injury right before you had it, and all that. And I think that's one thing that I would implore all of us to have. Like, we all know each other very, very well, but most of the time we be talking about surface stuff. I love these sit downs with good people, with our friends that we've known. Some of the best conversations that I've had with some of my good friends, like Nate, everybody. It's been great just to sit here and chat. But anything that you got that you need to promote with the people?
I train athletes, I train normal people, reach out to me if there's something you want to work on, improve on anything, for a better health, nutrition plan, reach out to me. We could talk. You have a son that wants to, work on skills, get with me.
CJ's coming. CJ's coming. Because he can't have his dad's calves. He can't have his dad's calves. My quads are okay, but my calves ain't it.
This was awesome, Chris.
Who should be on the show that hasn't been on and you can make the connection? I think James Jones.
Yeah.
James Jones. Casper said he was going to get James for me, but I think James would be a good one.
James, I get Maurice Jones-Drew.
Wow, okay. We get the whole NFL network then.
Yeah,
Well, James is with Fox now, isn't he?
James is with Fox.
Okay.
Maurice, James still does. He does a Packers show. He does a Raiders show pregame. He does a Packers show pregame.
And Taff was telling me his kids are they like that.
Yeah.
They're really good. And he's got them. How old are they now? They're
Chandler Bears. Bo is 12 and Jordan is 10. So 2 more years, Bo will be in high school.
And they're on their way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Well, I appreciate you for stopping by. Tell everybody where they could follow you and get some training information and follow the Gunderson Grizzlies too.
You can follow my Instagram, J_Harrison4. And you can follow the Gunderson page at Gunderson Football.
Okay, we'll put that in the show notes, but we are gonna get the outro if I can remember where it is.
Thank you for listening to the Beyond the Buckets podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and share the show with your friends. And until next time, take care.